What is good, family? This is the Deeper One on a Wednesday, 2 days before Christmas. I came on this video today. This just came to me. Sometimes when I get creative, and I think of something, I got to put it to bed right away. So I was at home. I'm like, let me just make this video real quick because I needed to get this topic out. And this is advanced teaching. I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all now, this is advanced teaching. So when y'all watch this, you really need to think critically and think hard before you come in the comments, because I know some of y'all going to be talking crazy. This is advanced teaching. You need to pay attention and you need to listen close. These, by the way, this teaching will be my only advanced teaching that's not going to be on Patreon. So go join my Patreon, patreon.com/deeper1. Go join, support your boy. Going forward, these are where the advanced teachings will be. And if you're trying to get your advanced teaching so you can get right in this game, my Patreon, becoming a patron is where it's at. But this is the first one. I'll give y'all a little bit of taste and let's get it popping. Yes, dating you is like buying a car. Now, I've alluded to this principle in the past, and some of y'all have had a problem with it. And you try to come up with the argument of, well, we can't be compared. Well, actually, yes, you can. You can. We all can. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why we can. See, some of you may not be on to the get on that there's a place out here called the sexual marketplace. We're all in it. We are all in it. So what we're going to talk about right now is the sexual marketplace and power dynamics in sexual marketplace. Now, from what I've told you guys, I like to talk about dynamics, male-female dynamics, power dynamics, not so much, dating advice or relationship advice, but dynamics to help males and females choose better partners and have more success in the dating game. And these dynamics play a huge part. They are super important. So introducing you to these dynamics is going to help you understand what I am a certified master life coach, and I am a digital creator and consultant. And so I'm giving you bits and pieces. I'm giving you a lot of info to make this better and help you understand that what I talk about and what we going to be going through is about dynamics. And the social dynamics, male, female, your interdynamics, your interpersonal dynamic with yourself are critical for your success in life and in relationships. Let's get it. So we're going to talk about sexual marketplace power dynamics. And there's going to be a few points that I'm going to go through. And we're going to cover and we're going to talk about that's an issue that you really, really should pay attention to. Now, I'm going to be looking down because, I took some notes. I did my research. So I took some notes so I can stay on topic. I normally talk off the rip, but I want to make sure that you're getting the information correctly as I took it and made it. So let's go. Number one, in the sexual marketplace dynamics. Oh, and I want to credit where I got this too, because I don't like taking people's stuff and not giving them credit for it. It's just no. But I got this from get the basis of this conversation from the Power Moves. Google if you want, by Mr. Lucio Buffalmano. So I wanted to credit this gentleman. And he's a gentleman that has a master's degree and does social research and a member of the American Psychology Association. So this stuff is mixed in with his stuff, a little mixed in with mine. So you know that this is real deal. This is just not off my ass information that does not work or not applicable in the real world, because it certainly is, because I use them myself. So let's go. All right. Number one, before sex, women have more power. This is a given. I'm going to say this is a given. I think we all know this, that women hold the power before sex because sex is what the man is chasing. Right? Right? They're trying to get in them draws. So you got the power as long as they're trying to get in them draws. I mean, period. I mean, we really don't even need to really discuss that deeply. That's just, common. All right. Well, here's where it kind of gonna go wrong here. That's number one. We're gonna leave that as a flat deal. We all know, ladies, y'all got the power until you give up the draws. Number two, the downside, and this is more of a bigger downside for y'all than it is for us. Number two, after sex, he has more power and she's got to chase commitment. Now, y'all be like, oh, you don't chase no man. But guess what? Some of you have to chase the commitment out of the man after you have sex with him, because a lot of you believe that you are owed a commitment when you have sex with a man. Not all of you. Don't get it twisted. Not all of you, but a lot of you do. So you find yourself chasing commitment from a man after you have had sex with him. Now, all right, we seek sex, y'all seek commitment. Yes. All right. Now, the reason that is because if you get pregnant and you're going to be having a baby, you're going to want to have a commitment from that man to help you raise that baby. I mean, period. Because you're not trying to be a single mother. Now, some dudes do chase for commitment. Very rare. I don't, but some dudes do. And some will chase for commitment after sex. It's kind of beta, but some men do. What happens there, though, is then the men lose the power. And this is kind of where betas really, really kind of get screwed here. Because if you're chasing the commitment, you're going to lose the power when you enter the relationship. Because you're going to be seen as the needier of the two. I mean, I guess that's given why you're beta. You fellas, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. You are giving her from the jump the power. And that's not good power dynamics for you as a man. Now, number three, but this is kind of where it then goes bad for us. After commitment, she has more power. Now, okay, you're probably like, whoa, what the fuck? Tables turn? Yeah, they kind of did. We want it to be about teamwork, but it's going to be end up about power in some ways. Let's talk about why. How does she have more power after the commitment? And the answer, well, she sees this resurgence of power, after she lost it, after she didn't have it in the beginning, after she had it in the beginning, my apologies. After she had it in the beginning, then she loses it. Now she's trying to get it back again. You know why she has more power? Ask yourself this. Who has more to gain from the commitment of you and her? Or you and him? Who? The woman. She's got the most to gain. Now, I mean, we gaining some stuff, we gaining some stuff. We gaining, access to the vajayjay. I mean, that's kind of really, a lot of mostly what it is that we gain. But if you're at that age where, you don't have kids and you're looking to have kids, it's going to be better for you to be with someone and raise children, with someone committed than be out here just, trying to fuck everything walking. It's going to be better for you. And studies show that men live longer when they're married. So that's kind of a win. Kind of a win. All right. Let's continue. Yeah. I took a little bit too many notes here, so I'm trying to, get to, get to the meat and potatoes. Get out through all the fluff. Now, let's get to number 4. Oh, it's a power switch again. After you have kids, the man has more power. Why? Because the woman's more invested in the child after the child's born. And since women invest more in the kids and can have fewer kids, in her life, a child is worth more to the mother than you are. Yeah, I can see that. I see that. It's very, very, very flagrant. I see it a lot, actually. But there's a downside for the ladies, is that means the father could walk away and the mother would still have to take care of the child, which is on her own, which happens quite a bit, obviously, because we have, a lot of single mothers out here. So after the kid's born, the women need our help in providing more than the man needs the woman. So you need us more than we need you after you have a baby. Period. Now, let's see. Okay, those were the 4 points. those were it. That was it. So I think we kind of even 2 and 2. We got a power tie. So being that we have a power tie, I mean, in all actuality, if we have a tie, then there should be an even display of power, amongst the relationship between the two of you. And there really shouldn't really be any issues in the relationship because it's kind of even keel at that point. Now, this part here is what inspired me to do this video about the sexual marketplace. This point here, the first part was just introduction fluff, but this is kind of really where it is. And this is the value exchange in the sexual marketplace. Now, this one, a lot of y'all gonna be real mad about some of the points made in this one, but you got to understand that this is in reality. This isn't about how it should be. This is about how it is. And a lot of you get caught up in how you think things should be rather than how they are. Let's go. The value exchange in the sexual marketplace. You see the title of the video, right? Yes, dating you is like buying a car. And this is where we're going to talk about that. Now, let me stress to you, more important than anything else that you can do in getting ready for your relationship is your personal self-development. A lot of people fail here, which leads to a lot of problems. Understand that. Let's compare. Let's say you're going to buy a car, right? No, I'm not going to use that. Yeah, you're going to use that in a minute because that's really where we're going to get down to the shit to help you understand what's up. All right. Let's talk about how we value each other and ourselves and a self-assessment of ourselves in getting into the marketplace. Now, a lot of you, especially a lot of you women, place a huge, we're going to overvalue. You overvalue what you got to bring to the table. There's a lot of that going on. Some dudes do too, but you more so hear women talk about their value of themselves than men. It's just the way it is. All right. Now let's talk about how y'all assess yourselves, kind of how you should, and kind of where it might be a little bit too much. The self-assessment of one's own sexual market value is a mix of self-esteem, sexual marketplace feedback. You know what that is? Us, you feedback. Past sexual success or lack thereof, and of course, temporal and environmental variables, competition, mood swings, whatever. Now, the assessment varies, but overall, people tend to have a relatively good grasp of their value and an unconscious idea of what they can realistically get. Ain't that the truth? All right. Now, what's important in this is that the health of the relationships and the health of the relationship is also important to make sure that if you have kids, that you're going to grow healthy, mentally stable children. So you need to kind of be there up front, have your shit together before you bring a kid on. If you ain't right in the head, there's going to be problems. There is. Trust me, I know. All right. Now, where we go wrong is a lot of us are looking for someone similar to us. And the reason we do that is because similar people who look for similar people generally don't have any excellent single traits. You know, the master of none. You don't really want that. You don't really want that because you need some opposite traits to bounce off one another and provide balance in a relationship. You got to be excellent at something. You just can't try to make up for that by having someone similar so then you can continue to be, average or mediocre. And that's kind of what a lot of us do. And actually those people that have, excellent single traits, a lot of these people looking for similar types find that to be very intimidating. All right, so let's go. Let's talk about disassortative bartering. Now, let me say that again. Disassortative bartering. What is that? Let's go. Now, because the sexual marketplace matches different intragender needs and wants, it's very possible to end up with very different couples. Very possible. Come on. Super possible. There's no question about that. You ask how? That's where disassortative bartering comes in. The general rule with this is the more value you have, the more that you can ask back. Women do this a lot, probably more so than men do. A lot. But since there are different traits that are being exchanged, a subset rule is that the more of a certain type of value you have, the less you can give in a different type of value. Yep. That's true too. Women really, really push this one to the envelope, actually, and everything. Because they do this with sex and the value of their vajayjay, and they feel that because there's so much value in their vajayjay, they can pull back on different types of value elsewhere. Usually, it can either, whether it's attitude, looks. I'm going to say looks and attitude are probably the two biggest things that a woman may pull back on if she is over exercising the value of her vajayjay. I'm just saying, it happens a lot. All right. Now, sorry, I had an email come in. Let's go. Now, let's talk about the bartering. That's where we're going to come in. Now, young women, and this is why this is important, young women trade their looks and reproductive years for resources. An unattractive but powerful smart man pairing up with a attractive woman. These are exchanges. These are exchanges. Handsome black man pairing up with an overweight white woman. Oh yeah, there's a lot of them exchanges going around. Now, these can match up. They match up on overall value, or at least people think they do. The only ones who complain are the more average people who are not very valuable in anything specific. And again, that's where we're talking about, master of none, good at a lot of things, but master of none. You really don't want to be that person. So instead of looking at themselves, or mind you, to the obvious fact that either of these three situations, these couples was happy enough to enter into the relationship, they want to finger point and act offended and scandalized. That one's big. On the one with the black men and the overweight women, that is probably the most finger pointing, offensive, scandalous relationship that black women definitely give black men who do that hell for. Hell. Absolute hell. I don't want to get too deeper into that, but that's what that is. Now, we done covered that. Hope y'all got a solid understanding. You want better understanding, you're gonna have to come into Patreon. We're not doing all this for free because this takes a lot of time and effort. I'm really helping y'all out here. So you got to help your boy out, support your boy out to get the rest. But let's talk about you being a car. Sexual marketplace is a marketplace. What do you do in a marketplace? A marketplace is a place where people buy goods and services in exchange for money. That's what dating is. We're exchanging something for something else. We each have something that someone else wants, and we want to exchange it for what we want. That's what this is. Now, let's use this in the application of purchasing a vehicle. Ladies, you're the car. We're the buyer. So you need to understand that men are the end user to women. I feel like a lot of you either don't know it or you just want to let it over your head. But at the end of the day, we're the end user. I mean, I guess unless, you're lesbian, then, okay, there's a difference there. But for the most part, the majority of us as men are the end user of your product. So it is your job to put your product in position to sell. Not us. That's your job. Now, let's say you're going to buy a car, a used car, because now we're all used and we're not new anymore. Yeah. All right. We're going to buy a used car. All right. So you're on the lot. I'm looking at a car. Now, understand, at a dealership, they have a process called the reconditioning process. And I think some of y'all might need to go through this process. And the reconditioning product is when the car comes on a trade-in. They take the car from the previous owner as a trade, and they take it back for reconditioning, which basically means they're reconditioning it to get it sale ready. That could mean vacuuming it out, cleaning the engine, cleaning the interior. It might include shampooing the interior, cleaning the windows, making sure, doing a safety inspection. So making sure lights work, blinkers work, horn work, topping off fluids, checking tire pressure, changing tires, if the tires are worn down too bad. They're doing, and trust, some dealers do just enough. Some dealers go the extra mile. Those extra mile cars usually are, like factory certified vehicles where they have a, maybe like a 64-point inspection or something like that, but they don't take as much reconditioning. Now, some of you are the dealers that cut corners to the reconditioning process and throw the car out on the lot. Actually, that's the one you don't want to be. You don't want to be them. But there's actually quite a few of you out there. Now, what happens with these vehicles? These vehicles end up being problematic for the most part. Everything wasn't checked. Some things were looked over, or there may have been an obvious problem that the dealer could hide from you at the time of sale, and a week later, it rears its ugly head. It's the same in dating. You usually will find that out generally with mental issues. If you find someone out is having some type of mental issue like depression, etc., anxiety, etc., etc., etc. It's something that can be hidden in the beginning, but it's going to show itself later subconsciously. That's what kind of buying that kind of car like. You take it off the lot, you buy it, then a week later the check engine light comes on. Or, the brake light comes on, or the ABS light comes on. And now you're pissed because you've had the car a week and you feel like nothing should be wrong with it. And you're back at the dealership and you're pissed. Now let's think about this in dating. I want you ladies really to think about this in dating. Those of you that say, oh, you're going to take me as I am, and you want all of these. The funny thing about this is I want to kind of make the comparison to Lizzo. Lizzo being Lizzo and seeing who Lizzo is and who Lizzo requires as a man. Completely opposite. Now, I attest this type of comparison to somebody that comes into the dealership and they want a 2021 Hellcat, but they got a 520 credit score. That's what I attribute some of you ladies to, who have very high standards in the man that you want, but you cheated the reconditioning process. And by doing that, that is, maybe you need to get into the gym. Maybe you need to do some other self-improvement. Maybe you need to get into therapy. Maybe you need to do some things that would make you more presentable to your buyer. Think about it. Now let's say you get to come back to the dealership and the dealer says, okay, we're going to take the car back. You can pick another car. Now you go to pick another car. This bad boy is clean. Everything's immaculate. You look like you can eat off the floor on it. It's used still, but it's clean. So you decided you wanted that. Now, for some reason, that car, and this happens in dealerships, some reason that car, they did not cut corners in reconditioning. Generally, the general rule is the more miles it has, generally they're going to cut corners for the reconditioning because it may cost more to recondition a car that isn't worth very much. And I want you to think about this. When you hear people talking about women hitting the wall over 30 and aging, and how important a woman's age and how she ages is important to a man. Remember, the older the car is, there's more likely that they're going to cut corners to recondition it. So problems are going to pop up. Problems that have probably been there a long time are going to rear their ugly heads. And trust on everything, I have been through this kind of situation before, and it sucks. So, all right. So you get in a new car, it's bad, it's clean, but remember, see, some of you are forgetting. Everything's about vision first. It's visual. You didn't like the car that you just bought until you saw it. You had to see it with your eyes. It was appealing to you, and it attracted yourself to you for you to go open the door, get in, take it for a ride, and then buy it and drive home with it. That's visual. So when we talk about the reconditioning process, some of the reconditioning, some things can't be fixed. Sometimes there's going to be some cars that's going to have some minor scratches, maybe have a small dent, maybe have some minor paint imperfections, nothing major, but you don't want to put the money into repairing it because it'll cost way too much, but it's no big deal. You can let it slide. Where you might have others that have a little bit bigger issues at hand that definitely it wouldn't be worth the reconditioning. So in this instance, a lot of you do that. A lot of you tell yourselves in certain things that men say they want, and you're out here dating, you tell yourself that certain things are just fine. Certain things are just okay. We can let it slide in the reconditioning process. You know, maybe he won't notice. Maybe he'll overlook it. You know, maybe he'll be okay with it. You know, maybe he'll take it anyway. Now that's like the person that comes in with bad credit that's got a 430 credit score. There ain't really much you can do for them, but there's only 2-3 cars in the lot that you can get them in, and you're one of them. And so he settles for you. I mean, this is very common actually. He settles for you because there's not, in what he can afford, there's not enough choices. So he doesn't have options. And a lot of dudes find themselves in a situation where they don't have very many options and they settle. And they usually settle for someone that tries to cheat the reconditioning process and not make themselves ready for the sexual marketplace. And they're lying to themselves, and their friends are lying to them. They're pandering them. Derek Jackson's pandering them. You know, you have your friends, your family pandering you and telling you all these things, not realizing that, hey, they are not going to be your buyers. They are not your buyers. They are not buying you. They have no vested interest in you in that manner. A man does. You want to be on your top shit so you don't have to be one of the 3 cars in the back of the lot that the dude that came in with the 430 credit score had to settle for because that's all that was available to him. And so many of you put yourselves in this corner because you don't want to do the work. You want to be lazy. You don't want to do what you need to do. So you got to settle for these dudes. And, you know, past behavior is a good indicator of future behavior. If he's got a low credit score, that probably means he's got a history of not paying bills on time. I mean, that's obvious. So which means there's a very well good chance that he has a history of not being a good partner, and he's probably going to have a history. He's probably going to make history with you and not being a good partner as well. Y'all get that? Y'all understand that? That's the dynamic you need to understand, that a lot of you are just, you're looking over it. You're looking over it and then you're asking yourself and you're scratching your head, well, why? Why? Because you are attracting people that can only settle for you because they have minimal options. If you are not putting yourself in prime condition for the sexual marketplace. At the end of the day. Now, let's remember. Now, some of you get upset about the sexual marketplace because you got new models coming in all the time. You know, you got them new foreigns coming in. You know, they're coming in, they're shiny as fuck. Y'all know how you get when you look at your current model car and then the newest model comes out and you're like, damn, man, damn, I want to cop that. You know, what's that? I want to cop that, but you can't. You can't do it. So you're stuck, right? So that's what we're talking about. Some of you, what you do is then you didn't get through the full process. Some of you might have gotten to it, but you done overvalued yourself. You done put a markup on the car. This happens when, let's say, for instance, as a reference point, when the Hellcat came out. All right, everybody was hyped for the Hellcat, you know, woo, the badass car. Then we see how much it costs. When it was time to buy, dealerships marked that joint up $20,000, $30,000. Now, some people paid it. Most didn't. Most said, no, I'm not going to pay 40 grand over sticker, you know, for a $60,000 car, $70,000 car. Same in dating. We're not going to overpay for what we perceive your value is either. And this is where it goes wrong. And I even listened to a podcast today and a woman talking about valuing herself and thinking that she's saying that the seller dictates the price, but the seller doesn't dictate the price. Now, the seller can set the price when, in this instance, at the dealership, they set the price for, $100,000 for this $60,000 car. They can set it, but the price is based on what the market allows. Now, if all these Hellcats get out here in the dealership and they're marked up and people aren't paying the markups and they're paying MSRP, well, guess what happens? Guess what happens? All that markup's gonna have to come down. And if they're gonna have to come down, because now you're gonna have a surplus of Hellcats sitting in dealer showrooms marked up that they can't sell because they're marked up. Now, like I said, let's say you got 100 of them and say 5 people paid markup. Well, if only 5 paid markup, you still got 95 available Hellcats sitting there marked up, where eventually the price is going to have to come down as that car sits on the floor to its suggested retail value. And ladies, you got to do these adjustments too. Because we, in the marketplace sets the value. You set the price, we set the value. And that goes both ways. That goes both ways for anybody out here dating and looking. The market dictates this. And if y'all really took this dating shit and thought of it as a business, a lot of you would be more successful at it. But you're not, because you be all in your feelings and the dudes, all y'all is motivated by getting ass, and you ain't really thinking business-wise about this shit. None of y'all are. So ladies, you can say and sit there and be like, you're a 12. Okay, you're 12. You're 12 out of 10. But if the market ain't valuing at a 12, maybe you're not a 12. You an 8. If that's what the market dictates, that's what you are. We gotta look. We have to look at that, and looking at this comparison to buying a car is probably the best way you can have a solid understanding of how the sexual marketplace works. You have to be reconditioned and ready to sell. You got to be ready to sell. Okay, ready to sell. For instance, when we talk about quality in the buyer and the end user. For instance, in this case, the men were the buyer. Men want higher quality men. Well, if you want a higher quality man, then you have to be a higher quality product. A high quality man isn't going to come buy a car where the dealer scammed on the reconditioning process and cut corners. A high quality buyer is not going for that. You got to understand that. A high quality buyer is going to come in and want to be able to buy a car, because a high quality buyer most likely will have a higher credit score and more money in their pocket, and they'll be able to choose from anything they want in the dealership. They don't have to take the shitty reconditioned car, because they have options to take any brand new or newer used car that was reconditioned properly on the lot. They got access. They have options. Well, that sounds great and all, right? That sounds great, though. But here's the problem. If they have options, and there are a lot of options, where's that going to put you? That's going to force you to have to be competitive. How can you compete against a brand new car? Let's put this in real life. These high quality men that everybody been talking about lately, these high value men that everybody been talking about lately, it's the same thing. These men want the younger, newer models that either have had no previous buyers or one previous buyer, but and didn't have any kids and certain requirements. Some of them might like the brand at the dealership you're at. Say you're at a Toyota dealer. Okay, they might like Toyotas. Okay, well, if they like Toyotas, they still probably gonna like the nicest Toyota if they have the option to buy the nicest Toyota. But you're gonna have some that might not like Toyotas. They might like Hondas, Mazdas. Some will be a little bit more picky. They might like foreigns, like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, BMWs, Mercedes, and they have the option to choose from them. So when someone has those kind of options, they're not going to settle for lesser options when they have higher options. Now you're going to get the occasional dude that may, like for instance, like people will say like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, rich as fuck, but they wear regular clothes. And I think one of them drives a Toyota. But that's only going to be a really, 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 really small percentage of the population. That's not going to be very many. There's going to be so many competing for that. You're just not going to be able to play in the game. So what that should do is that should encourage you to be competitive, to be ready to be in the marketplace, deciding where do you want to be in the marketplace? Do you want to be in the bargain lot where you send the people with bad credit? Or do you want to be in the regular lot? You want to be in the regular lot? Let's tear it up a little bit just for fun. For fun. You want to be in the regular lot, or do you want to be in the lot on the certified pre-owned? Then do you want to then move up to new? So you can be bargain, regular, certified, new. Where do you want to be, and where are you in the marketplace on that scale? Where are you? You're going to be in the back bargain lot and dusty because you've been sitting there a hot minute waiting to be bought and ain't nobody came through. And you're gonna have to settle, for a buyer with shitty credit and bad car ownership history? Or do you want someone that has options? Because if you want quality, you have to be quality. People that can come in with an 800 credit score can get 0% APR on almost anything in the lot. Do you think that they are going to walk over to the bargain lot and pick a car from that lot? Hell to the no. So why wouldn't you be as competitive to get the kind of man that you want? I hear so many times of so many people talking about, well, you're going to have to take me as I am. I'm this way because I don't have time to do this and this and that and the other. The thing is if you're out here shopping and you're in the marketplace, a man that's got options don't care. Now, he might have to have a very major affinity for you and really like you to overlook some things. But for the most part, if homeboy didn't know you from anyone off the street, he's most likely not going to care unless he has no dick discipline and he's moved by your fat ass. I mean, I'm just going to keep it real here. We're going to keep it all the way real. So now what? So yes, dating you, Boppy, is like buying a car. And you need to look at it in the same manner that I just broke it down for you to help you understand why getting ready for the sexual marketplace should be on your priority if you're looking for a good man in your life. You need to get ready. Internally, externally, whatever it is you need to do, it's time to get on your shit and get it popping and get your ass out here in the marketplace, presentable, ready for sale. Or else you might as well just go back and chill back in the bargain lot and accept what comes back into that lot looking for you, period. All right, y'all. That's the importance of dynamics. That's the importance of having power dynamics. Remember in I want to say it was in season 1 of the Deeper Love podcast where I talked about love over leverage. It's having leverage. If you're just going to settle, you have no leverage if you're willing to settle. You don't have any leverage sitting in the bargain lot. You got no leverage because everything else is above you if you're in the bargain lot, if you have no leverage. You're either going to take that low quality buyer that's going to come in with that shitty credit score, or you're going to sit back on that lot and collect more dust. Where do you want to be? Think about that, y'all. Thank y'all for listening or watching. Remember, check out my Patreon. I'm on Patreon, Deeper One. If you want to have these type of discussions, you want to get deep like this, we're going deep like this on Patreon. We're not going like deep like this on YouTube or on the gram or on Twitter. We are going deep like this on Patreon. And also, if you're looking to get a session, schedule a session, hit me up. Go to beacons.ai. That's beacons.ai and click on schedule a consult, and we can schedule a consult and see what we can do to help you get ready and maybe go a little deeper in this game for you to get you on and popping out here. Because if you find yourself struggling and getting what you want, there may be some things that you can't see, and listening to your friends, listen to your single ass friends that don't know shit. You need another third party person to help you acquire what it is that you want in a quality person out here. Again, thank y'all. This is Deeper One. I am out.